Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. Today I wanted to do a video that I have had several different people ask me about my process of filming, about YouTube, starting a YouTube channel. First off, y'all, I've been very blessed. And a lot of persistence, just keeping on. But I'm not an expert at this. There's a lot of people with a lot bigger channels. So what I'm going to attempt to do is just share what I have learned since I have started my YouTube channel. This is by no means what I would think would be expert advice or, how you should do it. I've just been asked, about the way I do it, and my philosophy is the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. So for the first thing, you want to start a YouTube channel. Go for it. Do it. By all means, do it. But don't do it for the money. Don't do it for the popularity. Don't do it because, you pressured trying to be something, worried about views. Do it because you enjoy doing it. If you don't enjoy doing it, you're not going to last long. What do you need to do it? I've got some camera equipment, tripod sitting here. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But basically, if you've got any type of a camera, you can go for it. You're going to need a computer or a phone, a way to upload videos. I started with basically a little camcorder and a computer, and then I quickly learned that I could use my iPhone, and I went with that, and it progressed. I got a lot different cameras and stuff, and I don't have all of my cameras down here that I have, but I just kind of brought a variety. But I wound up thinking the more simple is the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. So the simpler it is, the better off you are. Number one, when you decide you want to have a YouTube channel, be you. Don't watch other people's channels and try to mimic what they do. Be you. Do you. Do what you like. Film the things that you're interested in. If you have one hobby that you're passionate about and you want to stick to one hobby, that is the way to go. If you have one main theme that your videos are about, the algorithm is going to put you into a category that puts you in front of viewers that like that thing, and then they either going to like you or not. From there, it's all about your personality. But that's easier. If you're like me, and I do a wide variety of stuff because I just film life. I do it trying to help inspire people just to live a good quality life is my main goal. Things that I learn along the way I want to share. But I named the channel Spirit of the Outdoors because the Spirit of God is what connects me to the outdoors. And in the outdoors is where I get my feed. That's where I connect with God. And I try to share that simplicity with people that is the fullness of life. And that's what the Spirit of the Outdoors is. It's not, hey, I'm an expert hunter or trapper or fisherman or camper or any of these other gardener, whatever. I'm not expert at any of it. I just like all of it and have learned a lot about all of that, and I share what I know. So you find your thing, what you're interested in, what you're like, if you want to do like I do and film a little bit of everything, then do that. My number one advice would be when you start a YouTube channel, you're going to look at the views, you're going to look at the subscribers, and every time there's a new subscriber, you're going to notice it. Don't do that. It's hard not to. You're going to look at it some, but don't pay attention to that stuff, okay? Because you're going to start growing in subscribers, and two things is going to happen. You're going to get your feelings hurt at some point and get frustrated because it ain't growing like so-and-so's channel over here or doing like this person's channel. Some people just hit an algorithm and it just, boom, man, it explodes. I watched a young guy start a channel last year in the summer. He's got about 8 videos. He shot from 200 to 300 to 2,000 to like 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers in a matter of weeks. And then all of a sudden he disappeared. He put a lot of work into his videos. I can tell by watching videos how much effort has been put into filming. And he had put a lot of work into his. And he got frustrated, I guess, because maybe it wasn't growing like he thought it should, or I don't know what, but it's very rare that it's going to grow overnight. I've been doing this about 5 to 6 years, and I'm just now to 20,000 subscribers. And I make almost a video every day. I make a video every day because I like filming. I like making videos. I enjoy reading your comments. It is to a point that I really don't have time to reply to every comment, but I do read every comment that I put a heart by. I have read that comment. I may not always respond because, if you asked a question and I feel like I can help you, or something to say, or if I just, sitting at the house and have time, I reply to all of them. But at some point it gets overwhelming. Do not let it interfere with your life and your way of doing life. You do you, and film the videos and put them out there. The next thing is don't let negativity frustrate you. It don't matter how good you are. It don't matter how well you make your film. There's somebody that's just not going to like you. And you need to accept that right off the bat. Fortunately for me, it has been very few, but there is some. When you get on controversial issues, I skin a turtle right off the bat, a big, large snapping turtle. I did not even kill the turtle. A neighbor brought this turtle to me and said, "Hey, can you skin this turtle? I want the shell." And and what they had done was put a fishing trot line out on it, and it got on there and swallowed the hook, and they had to kill it to get it off. Wouldn't it, hey, these people out just trying to kill turtles. Very good people in my community. I was raised in this community by my dad, a good man, but also by other men in our church that were all good men. And those men are the ones that I help them. They let me on their land. I do things for them. They do things for me. And we help one another out. It's a good community. And they brought me that turtle and said, "Hey, we know you like doing this. Can you do?" And I did that for them. In the process of me, I wanted to make a video out of it, obviously. And I got a lot of feedback because the video found the algorithm, and it was one of the first ones that got a lot of views. And the animal lovers really piled on me. So I just turned the comments off to it and went on about my life. That is how you handle that. When people jump on you about small things, if you get bent out of shape and continue to argue on the internet back and forth with them, you're going to get frustrated. You're not going to last long. Because you're matching wits on the internet with people that don't know nothing for the most part, that don't really do a lot. They sit on their couch and just watch other people and tell them what they think they ought to do. However, now you will find people in the outdoors that like the outdoors because they do those things, and you can learn from other people. You can learn in the comments. People will give you good advice from the comments. But like I said, you're going to have a few that's sitting there with nothing better to do, that don't know how to do nothing but put negativity out there. And 9 times out of 10, it's because they're jealous of what you are doing. So learn how to deal with negativity. It's going to happen. For me, like I said, it has been very minimal. I have been blessed to not have a lot of negative feedback. If somebody has something negative to say that I don't like, I usually just kind of ignore it and go on. But now, if they just trying to pick a fight, like if I'm doing my just-in times and somebody jumps on me about like me wearing my bandana while I'm teaching and starts throwing scripture at me, I do not argue with them. I just block them. They never see another one of my videos. That way, it don't bother them no more. Because they use that scripture about not to prophesy or pray with your head covered. I'm sitting there talking to a camera. I'm not prophesying or praying. If I pray, I pull my bandana off. If I really get in the Holy Ghost while I'm talking to that camera and really start preaching, I pull it off. If I feel that anointing flow, I pull it off. But when people are looking for something negative, just block them and move on. You're not going to change their mind. But, you know, find something you like, start filming. It's a lot of fun, but like I said, be yourself. Don't try to imitate somebody else and do what they're doing. Don't look at the numbers. Don't look at the revenue. You're not going to make a living doing this till you get to like 100,000 subscribers or better, or you're going to really make any amount of money worth mentioning. Right now, at 20,000 subscribers, making a video a day, getting 1,000 to 2,000 views a day, you're lucky to make $300, $400, $500 a month. And that's probably the best I have done. There was 1 month that I made a little more than that because I had one video that hit like 70,000 views that month, and it like blowed up. So don't do it for the money. Eventually you can make a little money off of it, but most people that are doing YouTube for a living are making money on other things. So if you figure out how to use this to gain attention, then you can do blogs and you can do, you know, other social media things. You can sell products. You can do partnerships. I mean, there's a lot you can do. And you're going to start getting a lot of people wanting you to put their product on your camera in front of your viewers in exchange for a free product. Well, I get a lot of that. And I pick and choose what I fool with. The most recent would be Temu. They reached out to me. They're sending me some fishing gear. I chose what I wanted. I had leeway the way they operated. And the reason I chose Temu is because there's people out there on a budget wondering, hey, is this stuff any good or is it just junk or what? And I want to help share some knowledge about that. I don't try to review like expensive products. Number one, I don't want you to feel like, hey, look how nice a thing I got and I'm rubbing it in your face. The next thing is, if you buy an expensive product, most of the time you're going to be partial to it and you're going to like it, even to the point it fails. So with all that being said, now let's talk about filming. This is my number one setup. This camera, and then I'm filming with the iPhone that I normally use. It's an iPhone 13. This is the iPhone, I think, a 7 or maybe an 11. I don't remember which one this is. It may be wrote on them. I don't know. I have discarded it. I don't know which one it is, but anyway, it don't even matter. This is the one that I started filming YouTube videos with, and it had sound problems. And then I went to film, and I bought this camera and was filming with it. So my number one setup is I like the iPhone. And I'll discuss each one of these. I have a small action camera here. This one, the battery don't last in very long. This is a Sony. It's an older one, and I don't use it. I have never owned an actual GoPro. They might be a lot better, but there's several things that I am just not a fan of these cameras. Number one, the screen back here is too small for me to see what's going on in it. Most of the time they give this fisheye view, and all the trees behind me would be in a curve along the edges, and it bothers me when I'm editing. I don't like to look. I like good quality on my images. There's been times I've put out videos that didn't have good image quality or sound quality. It's gonna happen to you. But you strive to make the best that you can make if you're gonna do it. The thing I like about iPhone, I have a big front-facing camera that I'll turn where I can see myself in the camera as I'm filming right now. I know if I'm in frame. I know if the camera is recording. I know I can see what's going on. There's been a lot of times that I have hit the button and be doing something and look up and it didn't record when I touched it. I had wet fingers or whatever else. That's frustrating. So the biggest thing, and also I want to mention this, when I film, I don't film a whole lot of stuff that I've got to edit out. Sometimes, depending on the situation, for the most part, when I turn the camera on, I know I'm going to be using this footage. So with this, if I'm fishing or if I'm doing whatever, I turn the camera on and I'm doing what I do. And as soon as I'm through, I go turn it off. And then the next clip, I move the camera and a lot of times I can make a whole video with nothing but this tripod, and it extends out the legs all the way to this tall. I've got 3 tripods down here with me right now, just because of showing you what I'm filming with. The next thing with this is these phones now are waterproof. I don't need a little action camera like this with a waterproof case with all kind of... The waterproof cases really muffle the sound and make the sound quality awful. iPhone has good sound quality. Okay, I mentioned last year, or not last year, but several years ago when I was filming with this camera and I was getting bad audio. When I would start talking, I would be filming and it was like it was in mute for the first 30 seconds to a minute. Didn't know how long, and then all of a sudden it would pick up and then you could hear and it was muffled. And what it wound up being was this screen up here on the earphone, and I did a video on this. It didn't get a lot of views. I cleaned it with a toothbrush, a Q-tip, and some alcohol. I dipped the Q-tip in alcohol and rubbed it on there real good, and I got an old toothbrush and went back and forth across it, and then I used a dry Q-tip and rubbed it. And what had happened, it had got oil and stuff off your skin on that screen. That screen is not just a screen to keep debris out. It is a vibration, picks up sound waves as they vibrate against it. So it determines the volume. If you're having audio trouble with your phone, clean that, at least on the iPhones. Now, y'all, I have never used Samsung. I'm not going to knock any. All I can speak on is what I have experience with, and that is iPhones. They have great image stabilization. So if I grab the camera and I'm walking around in selfie mode, a lot of times I'll take the camera and I'll hold it just like this while I'm looking at it doing something. And while I'm moving it around, it is not shaking so much. Now, it will shake a little, but not near as bad as trying to hold one of these or one of these. Now, if I've got to film animals over there, zooming in, a lot of stuff like that, I would rather film with this. This don't have a real good zoom in it. The iPhone don't. If I'm going to be sitting there filming wild game over there, I want this camera. If I'm filming plants, I like to film with this camera. The problem is it's a lot more work to film with this, to make sure everything's in focus. This is a Nikon D5100. There are better cameras. This is an older camera. There are a lot better cameras. We have a mirrorless Canon at the house. I have actually never filmed with it. We got it used, and my wife was going to use it to film with. But now this is a lot of trouble to get in focus. I have a Takstar camera. This is about a $40 mic on the top of it. It is not the best, but it works pretty good for the money. I would love to have a Rode Video Pro. And I'll probably get me one eventually. I would probably like to have a real GoPro Hero 10 or better if I was going to get one. But like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the little action cameras. This mount right here is what I use a lot of times. If I'm going to be in the canoe, if I'm deer hunting, don't matter what I'm doing. And the reason is this thing will clamp. Now this one I have about wore out. But in a boat or in the canoe, this is what I am usually using. And it'll be the only thing I take with me. Because I can grab this, I can loosen these up, I can put it where I want it, I can tighten it down, and I'm filming right there. I can take that quick connects. I can tell if I'm on camera. If I catch a fish over there, I can spin this around, make sure it's tight, and it'll get still, and then it'll film. This is what I use when I'm filming in the canoe. I can look at me, I can turn the screen around without moving anything. I can just touch the screen, flip it to forward facing, and film out in front of me. The iPhone 13 has really good video in front. It is not as good this way. Well, it's about the same as all other cameras on the camera that I'm currently using right now. I make all of my B-roll with the front of it, and then I turn around and look at it. So you can very easily move this around to whatever angle you want and film with it. So these two are my go-tos. Now, if I'm going to be filming medicinal plant videos, anything, I'll use this because I can zoom into a plant. I can get good quality images because I can slow down and take my time and film things. And I like filming with this camera. But if I'm busy trying to do something, I'm trying to make something, I'm working on things, and I'm going to be moving around. If I'm building a camp over here and I'm doing whatever, I want that iPhone because autofocus is great in it. The autofocus in this is terrible. It really is. You need to film on manual focus and dial it into whatever you want and leave it alone. This iPhone, just like right now, I can come over here, I can walk right up to the camera and I can show you something and it focuses on it. I can walk back over there, you can see all that in focus. In my opinion, the iPhone is the way to go. So after that, you have filmed your video. Don't film a whole pile of footage. And if you buy an iPhone to do it, I'll tell you why the iPhone makes sense too, okay? Here's another plus, or whatever phone you've got, Samsung, Android, whatever, okay? You're going to have that iPhone in your pocket anyway. When you buy an iPhone, these 13s, I don't know what they are now. When I bought it, they were about $1,200. Make payments on it through my phone company. I'm already paying a phone bill. I added $30-something to my phone bill to buy a phone. But I've got a waterproof phone. It's my computer. I handle business with it. I check my YouTube with it. I can film videos with it. I can upload videos with it. I can edit videos on it. For a long time, when my main computer went down, we were struggling with internet, and I didn't have my MacBook. I've got a Mac Mini now that I hooked to my regular display screen at the house to edit on. But before I got that last year, I've had it almost a year now, I was doing everything with the iPhone. I would film with it, had my footage on there. I would sit down with iMovie and edit everything on my phone. And I promise you, you go back and look at that footage and you can't tell a lot of difference between it and what I do now. Then I went to Video Pad Editor, and I liked it. It did everything I needed to do because I don't get fancy, put special effects. I basically clip videos together and trim the ends off of them to where I reach up, touch a camera or whatever. Or if there's dead spaces in there where I'm, doing the same thing over and over, I can cut that out. Or if something made a loud racket or whatever. Stuff that you just want to cut out, you can cut that out. But that's about all I'm doing is mashing clips together, rearranging them. And then the music that I use on all of my videos comes from YouTube Studio. They have a library. They have a list of music. You pick a genre you like, or you can choose 10 genres, but I pick a genre I like, and I go through and listen, and I download what songs I like. And I've got about 25 to 30 1, 2, 3 minute songs, and I rotate them out. I don't like to use the same thing over and over and over, but you're going to hear the same music along in different videos. That is YouTube's music. You have to use what they provide because it's copyright free. If you just choose some random music and somebody has a copyright on it, they demonetize your video. You can use the music. You just cannot monetize the video. And speaking of monetizing a video, a lot of people get frustrated the bigger a channel gets. There's all kind of ads in it. Well, now you get to turn on the ads. I do get to choose if they're in the mid-roll or not, whether they put some in the... If you choose mid-roll, it basically allows you to cut the clips and put some videos in it. I try not to do that on my just-in-time videos. But if you turn your video monetization off and you turn your ads off, YouTube will still put ads on your video, because I've got several that they was background music in. The Christmas parade, for one. They was Mariah Carey playing on one of the floats that went by. They demonetized the video. When you watch that video, they was still ads all through it, because YouTube does what they want to do. They're going to make their money, and they really ain't nothing you can do about it. They got you over a barrel. You can either use their platform or not. They don't care. So, the monetization, you either turn it on or off now at this point, basically, and that's about it. So I have no control over the ads. And what ads you see has to do with what you watch and what your taste and stuff is. So those ads that you see, if they're negative ads and they got profanity in them, that's more on you than it is on me. I have no control over what ads, because everybody watch the same video may see 3 different kind of ads on it. But filming the iPhone for me is the way to go, because it's auto-focusing, it's waterproof. I can sit down and edit everything on that phone if I want to and upload it with that phone. Now, when I went to the Mac Mini, I started using Video Pad Editor. I was already using it before. I liked it, but now I had a problem with Video Pad Editor. And a lot of people's using a lot more expensive. There's a lot better. There's DaVinci. There's, what is the number one when I was going to download, and it was several $100. Premiere Pro, I think. And the next thing is with the iPhone, I couldn't get some of my clips converted over to get into some of them. I had DaVinci, I deleted it, and I went back to using the iMovie editor that comes on your MacBook. And that's what I'm editing with right now. Could that change? Possibly. I mean, you never know what you taste in stuff, or what, you decide to change up the way you're doing things. But those are some of my processes. The next thing is, once you start filming and you decide I'm going to film videos, invest in you a tripod, y'all. I'm telling you, invest in a tripod right off the bat. Set that tripod down. Make sure what you're wanting to film is in focus in the screen. If you're using an iPhone, you can stand over here like I'm doing now, and I can see that I'm in the screen. Set it there and leave it alone. If you're constantly moving it around, trying to film, walking around with that phone in your hand, and you're talking instead of doing this, especially with one of these little flimsy cameras, you get an awful, awful video quality. And at some point, I'm wondering, if you're going to go buy a phone, everybody's taking a cell phone now. If you're going to go buy one, go on and buy you a good one with plenty of memory. This one and the one I'm filming with have 120-something gig. I wish they had 500 gig. Because there's times when I'm filming a little bit of a video that's going to take 2 or 3 days to do whatever I'm doing, and I'm filming a little clip here of it and a little clip there of it. That footage piles up on there while you're filming other videos, and you can get a lot of stuff on your phone at one time before you realize it. And depending on what kind of videos you're making and how long they are. So the more memory you got, the better off you are. But you're going to have a phone in your pocket. Why not go ahead and buy a good one that you can film with? I see people that they'll buy a little old cheap phone and tote it around, and then they trying to film with something like this, and their image quality is awful, and they wonder then why their channel's not growing. It's because your footage is awful. It's because your sound quality is terrible. The iPhone has pretty good sound. Right now, I'm literally filming with nothing but the iPhone. There's no mic, there's no nothing. Is it ideal and perfect? No, it is not. But for an old country boy out here in the woods doing what you do, it works. And here's the thing, the easier you make it on yourself, the longer you're apt to do this. If you make it where I film everything with a camera like this, and the first time I dump it out of the canoe or it rains on it and it's shot, I'm going to get frustrated and I'm going to quit. It's a lot of work to do this. When you sit down to edit, half the time when I'm using this, some of the clips are out of focus. And that's frustrating, because you done filmed this whole video and you got 2 or 3 clips that are horrible because you couldn't tell with this little bitty screen on the back, and this one has a flip around screen. Some of them do not. And you've got to walk over here and focus on something, and then when you walk around and get in front of it, you can't tell if you're in focus or not, or if the tree over here behind you's in focus. A lot of work. The phones make it simpler. And I keep saying iPhone because that's what I use. I'm sure that some of the Androids and other things are just as good. I just don't have experience with them. That's on you. You'll have to figure out what kind of phone you want. I'm just saying the newer smartphones really are the best option. Now, once you get good at it and you start upping your game, then the sky's the limit on camera equipment. I mean, you can spend a fortune. I bought this one on eBay, and I think I give about $200 for the camera and $30 for the mic. So I'm not going to spend a lot on equipment. I'm not famous for sinking a bunch of money into anything. But by all means, y'all go after it. Go start you a YouTube channel if you want to. Film your hunts. But do it for the fun of it. Do it because I like making videos. I like conversing with people. I like sharing this. Be yourself. Just talk. Don't try to sound like nobody else. Don't try to change your accent. If somebody gets on there and starts telling you sound like cornbread like they do me, just laugh and go on and say, I know it. And if they don't like it, they don't have to watch. A lot of people don't realize that they can turn it off. It's not a mandatory video that you have to watch and get graded on. Nobody's grading a paper on your videos, so they can turn it off if they don't like it. If they don't have enough sense to turn off something that they don't like, well, that's their problem. But go for it. Film, pick you out whatever you like. And here's the next thing. When you first start, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have awful videos. There's some things. People are going to probably try to give you tips and tell you how you ought to do. Some of it will be good information. You need to take it. Some of it won't be worth a flip. There'll be people that sincerely trying to give you advice that have no idea what they're talking about. The things that you're filming, there's always somebody that's got a better way to do it. There's always somebody that, you should have done this. And then there's always somebody about you not being safe enough and you didn't have the right this and you need to go watch so-and-so's channel and look at how they do it. You just let all of that go and you do you. You film it and put the video out there and they can watch it or they can turn it off. Just ignore the negative comments. If they just directly attacking you, just block them and move on. On the internet, you're not going to change somebody else's mind. These people that's got way too comfortable of putting their opinion out there without getting hit in the mouth for it, that they're real comfortable of just saying whatever comes to their mind. If they were standing there looking at you and you were standing there with your fist clenched, they wouldn't say a word. So know that. Let it go. And I don't feel like I want to hit everybody that says something negative. I'm just saying, without that consequence being there, people are going to be negative. And the best thing I have learned is I let things go. You're not going to change somebody else's mind. And in reality, fighting, when you start arguing with somebody, that's leading to fighting. But the only reason that I would ever want to be involved in a fight is somebody's got me blocked off to where I can't get out of where I need to get out of, and my family's with me and I'm going to fight my way out. Or there's somebody hurting somebody else or some animal that needs to be stopped and I need to physically stop them. But just because I don't like somebody and I'm aggravated at them or mad at what they said or they said something negative, that ain't, I'm going to laugh at them and go on about my way. I see people on the internet arguing and fist fighting over the stupidest stuff because so-and-so disrespected me. If you got an attitude like that, you probably don't need a YouTube channel. Because it'll show through in there. The big thing about whether your channel is successful or not is whether people like you. It ain't necessarily about your product. It ain't necessarily about what your education that you're giving them. It's that, hey, I like this guy, or this girl. I like the way they talk, or I like their attitude, or they're fun to watch. I got a lot of people that watch me from the northern part of the United States that their accent is nothing like mine, and they probably don't like the way I talk. But they pick up on that, the guy's got a decent attitude. I get a bad attitude every once in a while, I do. But for the most part, I handle things pretty mildly. And I don't let things really fluster me too much. Because by the time you get to my age, I'm 42 years old. I ain't old. I'm young to a lot of you probably, but I'm old enough that I have had enough water go under the bridge that I'm not going to let a whole lot of things get me out of sorts. And when I do, I usually walk away and go on and be by myself till I get control of everything and get thought out how I need to react. Because you learn from mistakes of making bad decisions that, hey, I reacted poorly there. Don't do that no more. In filming, learn from other people's channels. Watch the channels that are successful, and you can pick up tips on how they set up cameras, how they adjust. I try to adjust the color to make it pleasant. You don't want everything bleached out. I try to do a good job editing, but now here's another thing, y'all. I enjoy editing a video. I enjoy sitting down, whether I edit on my phone or I edit on the computer. I enjoy the artwork of piecing together footage and putting it together. And that is why I make a video every day. It is not because, well, I got to put out a video today so I can get that revenue up. I could care less about the money, y'all. I'm not living my life to try to get rich. I'm not living my life through YouTube trying to get popular or get famous. I'm just as average and normal as everybody else. But I hope some of these tips will help you in filming. And it's a lot of work. I'm telling you it is. If you're good at fishing and you sit there and try to film it, you'll find out just how hard it is to capture your fishing on camera. Because if you get focused on filming, you're probably not going to catch a lot of fish because your mind is on this filming. And it's hard to juggle the two. And it's twice as hard hunting. Hunting and filming yourself hunting and being successful at hunting is probably one of the hardest things there is to do. Anything else, you can back up and redo. Y'all, but now the way I film, I turn that camera on and then I go do what I'm doing. I don't set up a production and try to stage things. I'm not trying to fake anything. And somebody that has filmed can tell if it's faked or not. I can watch people in other videos and I can tell when they fake stuff and stage stuff. I can recognize it. A lot of average people probably can't. But I turn that camera on, film what I'm gonna film, and turn it off. It makes the editing a lot easier. It makes the video look more authentic. You just going about life doing whatever you're doing. So keep it real, keep it simple. The simpler you make your equipment and your process, the more apt you are to enjoy the filming, and do it because you love it. Do it because you enjoy filming and making videos. You'll meet a lot of great people. You'll meet a lot of viewers that love you and think you're the greatest thing, and it'll make you feel good. Don't let that go to your head. Stay grounded, stay true, because none of us are better than anybody else. I'm not no better than the lowest person out there. I promise you I ain't. I'm just blessed by the good Lord. I love y'all. I hope this video was able to help you a little bit. If you decide you want to start a YouTube channel, I filmed this strictly because I've had several people ask me about they want to film, and I thought it was easier to make a video than it was to try to answer everybody through emails and stuff like that. So thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.